million predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Uwelimo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Newcastle United against Crystal Palace from St James's Park. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Alongside me is the former Charlton, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace winger Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. Well, it may lack the micro-breweries, the huge video screens, the fireworks and the £1 billion price tag, but Newcastle United's home has its own unique sense of majesty, and they'll be hoping the home side that will propel them to the 6th successive win, and maybe it'll inspire Palace a little bit more than it did in North London during the week. We are underway here. Crystal Palace kicking from left to right in this first half in their traditional blue and red shirts with blue shorts and blue socks. Newcastle, of course, you'll need know, reminding in their black and white stripes with black shorts and white socks. Two changes made by Rafa Benitez. Shah and Key returning to the side. Just the one change made by Roy Hodgson. And Ross Townsend, the man on the ball, former Newcastle man, of course.
Getting a boo in too.
Yeah.
Strange.
Almost played in down that right-hand side, intercepted by Matt Ritchie. And now Isaac Hayden will find the South Korean international Key. Not a surprise, I suppose, Morts, that he's been targeted already. Townsend. It's kind of the law, isn't it, really, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, he did really well. And there were rumours, early on in the season that he could go back to Newcastle. I think he did well there. He's a good player, Andrew Townsend. Played for England. Did really well when he played for England. And I'm sure, with the way Gareth Southgate's looking at things, he must believe he's got a chance of getting back an England spot.
He's 27, so he's certainly not past it, even by the current England squad standards.
Yeah, he's too old, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so. Here he is again, finding Zaha. Batshuayi back to Zaha, edge of the D. This is good from Palace. Here's Jeffrey Slupp. Oh, he's not a million miles away. Jeffrey Schlupp from just inside the area on the angle, and it was just wide of that left-hand post.
Well, I tell you what, if Newcastle defend like this, Andros Townsend's going to fill his boots. The ball is given away, and they get to the edge of the box. A little bit of play between Batshuayi and Zaha, gets to Schlupp, gets it out of his feet, screws it past the post, really. I mean, I think that's a great chance, and it will give Palace some confidence. Good start by them.
Yeah, already it's better than what they served up against Spurs, and that was a really good opportunity. I'm with you, Morts. I think he should at least hit the target.
Yes, you make the keeper work from there, without a doubt.
Yeah, he has got 5 goals in all competitions this season. The Ghana international, 4 in the Premier League, started the last 9 Premier League games as well, so he's got plenty of football in his legs, on his best run since the end of 2017 in the Palace side, but wide on that particular occasion. Zaha inside the centre circle this time, finds James MacArthur, up to Zaha again, and
skill.
Townsend tries to turn his man, but he's fouled by Lascelles.
They've started bright, haven't they?
They have.
They really have. And then they've started really bright, really confident. Kept Newcastle in their own box, really, around their own half.
Schlupp again with the ball, teasing towards the far side. Header out of danger by Ritchie. Picked back up by Wan-Bissaka. Townsend involved again, down the line from Kelly. That's spotted by Ritchie and intercepted. Poor pass to Hayden in the middle of the park though, but Key wins it back, and it's another misplaced pass, this time from Matt Ritchie, and out for a Palace throw. You're right, Morts, it's very nervy from Newcastle, and yes. Palace have settled beautifully.
Well, what you want always is a fast start, but you can't, because the way Newcastle is set up is literally, if you're a boxer, they're sitting on the rope saying, come on then, come on, take your best shot. It's almost like that. You'd think that Newcastle would have gone and set the trend and put a marker down, forcing Palace back, but they're not doing it, sorry.
Yeah, 4th minute, and it's all been Palace, whose record here has been fairly wretched. Just 1 win in their last 16 matches against Newcastle in all competition, 10 defeats in that time. They haven't won here at St James's Park in 8 league and cup games since they won in the Premier League back in 1998. But they've started with purpose here, and very definitely are the better side.
And it's a very strange. In fact, I've just been contacted by a friend of mine, Steve Freeman, who's in Florida, on driving along, listening to us, taking his boy Gavin to school. So I thought I'd shout out. We'll do our best to give you the best coverage that we can. Steve, enjoy your day, and Gavin, enjoy your football.
But it's nice there.
I envy him every time he gets in touch.
I bet it's sunnier than at St James's Park, put it that way. No, it's not difficult. Here is Newcastle with Ritchie hugging that left-hand touchline, down the line, looking for Almiron, and the cross is blocked by Wan-Bissaka for the first corner of the game. Looking forward to seeing Aaron Wan-Bissaka today.
Yeah,
first time I've had a look at him this season. Yeah,
Almiron, I like. Good player, it's going to give him a game.
Ritchie with the corner, 6th minute at St James's Park, Premier League Live, 0-0, but the first chance for Newcastle really to show what they've got. The big men from the back going up here. Ritchie to take it, dink to the edge of the 6-yard box. Rondon gets the header down into the ground, but it's well wide in the end, and that'll be a goal kick to Crystal Palace.
And it's possible that these set pieces are going to be, Newcastle's best chance, because they're not going to carve Palace open with their football, because they just aren't set up in a way to actually prompt attacking football. Like I say, 4 or 5 at the back, really, 4 in midfield, and Salman Rondon marooned up front, and sometimes too far away from his midfielders. The run from the midfield to him is too far for some of the midfielders to make.
Yeah, the two teams line up like this, with Martin Dubravka in goal for Newcastle. Yeah, back 5, thought it might be a 3, but the 5 at the back are Matt Ritchie, Florian Lejeune, Jamal Lascelles, Fabian Schär and DeAndre Yedlin, with Miguel Almiron and Oisi Perez, the wide players, with Isaac Hayden and Ki Sung-young in the middle, with Rondon the out-and-out striker. Here's Michy Batshuayi on the edge of the penalty area, and again Palace come forward. Schlupp plays the 1-2. I think that may
Offside.
be offside. It is.
Wonderful play. I mean, Palace's 1 and 2 touch play around the box is really, I mean, this was great play. Good back heel from Batshuayi. Good 1-2. You can see Van Arnold is just offside, but it's really enterprising play for Palace.
Certainly is. Vincente Guaita is their keeper. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Martin Kelly, James Tompkins and Patrick Van Arnold, their back four. James MacArthur, Luka Milivojevic and Jeffrey Schlupp in midfield, with Andros Townsend and Wilfried Zaha either side of Michy Batshuayi. But it's been the Eagles that have been very much the better team in these opening 8 minutes. It's been a really excellent start from Roy Hodgson's side, who've been good on the road. They've won more points away from Selhurst Park than on their own patch, which is unusual these days. 20 points they've won at home compared to 20 points away as opposed to 16 at home. 2 wins in the last 3 away trips. They did serve up that performance at Spurs.
You call it what you
midweek
want.
though. Yeah, performance is possibly a bit generous. Here's Martin Kelly sweeping the ball from right to left over halfway. Zaha should keep that in under pressure from Yedlin. He does, but he's backheeled it blindly and straight to Perez. That's a good ball to Almiron inside the centre circle. Rondon ahead of him to his right and Ritchie to his left. Ritchie is found 3 yards in from the touchline. Almiron exchanges passes with him again. The referee allows himself to be nutmegged by that ball in field. Stuart Atwell, nifty footwork from him. Hayden out to the right hand side. Ball is whipped in and James Tompkins has time to stoop away and head it clear. Be a bit disappointed he's put it straight back to Yedlin. Here's Key, little turn from him away from Schlupp is nice, edge of the box. A bit strong that cross though, and Ritchie was interested for a split second, but the way it kicked off the turf and accelerated away from him, it was always going to go out for a goal kick.
And it's almost like, you know, they're huffing and puffing a little bit. Even this early in the game, Newcastle, you're never really convinced that they're going to cause Palace a problem there.
No, they've yet to find any rhythm at all. They're not looking like the side that have won the last 5 in a row at home, equaling their best run since, this sort of time, spanning the summer to the start of the 2006-07 season. And if they can win today, that'll be 6 in a row for the first time since the days of Bobby Robson back at the start of 2004. They have been on a very, very good run of form in the last 10 games, which has really transformed the way they're looking at the table, certainly from down, if not completely up, towards the top 10, because that's a little away at the moment, but certainly eased any fears of going down as Hayden strikes one along the ground from about 20 yards, which is well seen by Guaita, and he gets everything behind that and makes no mistake.
Well, for me, it's the confident approach play that I like. The finish wasn't so great, it was fairly straightforward, but they showed Newcastle that when they do get enough quality possession on the ball, they are capable of some good quality approach play, and that was really quite a positive thing for the fans.
Yeah, best moment for Newcastle so far in terms of fluidity, in terms of looking confident and composed on the ball. That shot resulting from Isaac Hayden, not enough sting in it really to cause the goalkeeper any problems. Here's James Tompkins. That's poor. Had a defence from Kelly. And Newcastle have it on halfway with Key. He'll lift this one over, looking for the run of Perez. Inside his man, edge of the box. He'll check back inside Tompkins. Here comes the little stink from the right hand side, and it's over Rondon, but he'll keep it in on this near side. Kelly goes to close him down. Ritchie in support. Point to the box is Key. Back to Ritchie. Perez back to goal. Lifted further towards the 6-yard box, and Guaita's punched it mystifyingly, and Ritchie can't lob it back into the danger area. It's taken a flick off Martin Kelly for a corner, and that was again a decent opportunity for Ritchie then. He was maybe should have put his foot through it a bit more.
I have no idea, and that was belief, both of them. Goalkeeper, no belief. Matt Ritchie, no belief. Because if he volleys it like he did a couple of weeks ago, that's in the top corner, one wonders why. But the goalkeeper, not sure what he was doing punching that, should have caught it.
Yeah, that was pretty weak. Key with the corner, it's headed away with authority at the near post by Milivojevic. Perez will win it back on the left hand side. Supports from Almiron, square to Key, that's nice control, lob into the area, here's Rondon on the penalty spot, can't pull it away in time, and the shot in the end is way over the top of the bar. But again, terrific approach work from Newcastle, who have taken a bit of time to warm up. 13th minute, but now they're starting to look more like it.
Very good 1 and 2 touch play there. And it bounces to Rondon 6-8 yards out, and it just doesn't come down quick enough. I think he's got a gamble and just turn and swivel, and if it goes in Rosette, so be it.
Schlupp at the other end tries to feed it through to Batshuayi, but there's too much on that ball, and it goes away for a goal kick. Yeah, he just sort of wanted that extra half second, which he just didn't have. It was a crowded box, and you're right, needed to do something immediately.
My mate Steve in Florida has come back to me 80 degrees.
Oh, nice one, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
We were wondering.
Yeah. Don't get sunburned. Yes, I mean, I thought, Rondon, it took a bit of time, but your best centre forwards are ready.
Yeah.
They really believe the ball's going to bounce at their feet, but Newcastle seem to have woken up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great crossfield ball by Ritchie, and that'll be pinged back across from right to left by Yedlin. Here's Perez, he shrugs off MacArthur. Key makes the run square, but he's ignored by the Spaniard. Now Hayden out to Yedlin again. Support from the back. Ball whipped in towards Ritchie. That's a good header down towards Rondon. The keeper's lost it, and Rondon circled into the net, but it's going to be disallowed for offside. The flag is up, the goal will not stand.
I will have to have a look at this, because I'm not certain. Oh, he's just. How close is that?
About a knee.
How close is that? It's a knee, isn't it?
It's
it really is
offside.
a knee. That's unfortunate, but he's just offside, and that was easy, very easy, to the back post. Good nod back from Ritchie. Again, not 100% sure what Guaita in goal is doing, because that's not goalkeeping as I know it. I've got to say, I don't know what he was doing there. He should have got something on that.
Morts, I'm not sure it's goalkeeping as anyone knows it, really.
I'd have to agree with that.
To be honest, he's had 2 punches been sent to Guaita, and he's been hopeless at both of them, I have to say.
Yeah.
And he's put his side in trouble. But it's swung around a little bit, because Palace were terrific in the opening 5 minutes. Newcastle pretty sleepy. And now it's almost turned right around, and Newcastle now are the better team.
Well, this free kick from Isaac Hayden sort of highlights where Newcastle are. All of a sudden, it's just as I've said before, they just run about a bit more. All they've done is become a little bit more competitive, got closer to Palace, and made them make decisions. And Milivojevic they've given a foul. I don't think it's a foul, by the way. It's because he took too long on the ball, and he was shut down really well. And the ref let the play go on, and then gave the foul. It was a strange one.
Palace take it and move it out to the right hand side to Wan-Bissaka, again further forward to Townsend, as the Blues will tell you. A 1-2 between the pair. Townsend has it again, he's topped the cross a little bit, cleared away. Wan-Bissaka thought he might be able to pick up the pieces there. That's a poor touch by MacArthur. He tries to atone for his error. He has fouled his man, but the referee says play on. Decent advantage that by Stuart Atwell. Here's Ritchie forward towards Rondon, who's wrestling his man. It's laid away by Kelly, but only as far as Ritchie. Ball infield here to Perez. 1-2 with Rondon, almost comes off. It's Ritchie! That is a good save by Guaita at his near post, behind for a corner.
Well, I'm beginning to see now why they're so potent at home. Good play, Ritchie at the heart of it, plays it, cuts it just on the edge of the box. They play a good 1-2, Iosi Perez and Rondon, just out of Perez's reach, falls to Ritchie's lap, and you know what? Palace keeper Guaita in goal can save a ball. He can keep goal.
Key with the corner, deep towards the far post. That's a better punch from Guaita.
Yeah.
Much better. Almost got it towards the halfway point in the Palace half, which was a lot further than he's managed in the previous 2 attempts.
That's better, as we see the save again. Good 1-2 from Jose Perez and Rondon. He's never scoring really, Matt Rich. He's got to go across the goal to give the keeper a problem.
But at least the keeper will, by making that save, he'll have boosted, felt a little bit better, won't he? Because he will be feeling a little bit unsettled by his handling in the opening 10 minutes or so. But one decent save and now one very good punch under his belt.
And it appears Palace have lost their way just a little bit.
It's
not
weird,
quite
isn't
sure
it?
why.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's just because Newcastle now have just started to do the basics, which they weren't doing. Got more of the ball, closing quicker, pressing, hassling, breaking up play, which they weren't doing.
Well, but everything a home team's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on the front foot. Get on the front foot and make Palace work and earn the right to play. This is their home stadium. Yeah, they've got to grapple control of it again.
Florian Lejeune's long ball out of defence is too long for everybody, and that runs away for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. A goal at the Vitality Stadium.
Flicked header, 1-0, own goal. I believe it's Ashley Barnes. There's a flag up. We're waiting to see exactly what's gone on here. The free kick's come in. Ake's gone towards it, but I'm pretty sure it's come off Ashley Barnes into the back of the net.
OG by Ashley Barnes. That's not good for him, obviously. Not good for Burnley, who are looking to pull further clear of Cardiff in the final relegation spot. They are 5 points clear before kick-off today, but that is not a good start for them, trailing at Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Here at the home of Newcastle United, St James's Park, it's 0-0 between the Magpies and Palace in the 19th minute. Long ball out of defence is headed back towards the halfway line by Tompkins. Milivojevic with a strong challenge with Key on halfway. That was a good old-fashioned barnstormer there.
Key's tried to con the ref as far as I'm concerned, squealing and all that. It's a great tackle. That's absolutely. You saw him roll around, look up at the ref. Oh, he's not giving it. I better get up then. I don't like that. I really don't.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you could hear.
Yeah, Milivojevic hurt himself too.
Here's MacArthur lifted in towards Batshuayi, but it's too high and easy for Dubravka.
I think he's struggling, Milivojevic, you know. I think his knee is sore. It's one of them tackles where neither wanted to show any pain. They both wanted to get up and growl away from it.
Well, that'll be a massive blow if he has to go off. Captain and Totem has played every minute in the Premier League this season. He is just struggling a little bit. Keep a close eye on that. Palace have it again. Townsend moved out to Zaha, who's stayed on his feet under some attention from Perez and Yedlin. And here he is again with a chance, with a bit more room this time. Wilfred Zaha. Townsend on his left-hand side. Back to Zaha. A couple of yards inside the Newcastle half. Milivojevic. Up to Townsend. Palace keeping the ball effectively, no way through at the moment down that left hand side, so back they go. Another goal in the game between Bournemouth and Burnley.
Begovic, goal away to my left hand side, looks out to his right hand side, right down in front of the travelling Burnley fans. Corner comes in, Begovic is right, there should be one. It's Chris Wood with the simplest of headers at the back post.
What a terrific signing he's been for the Clarets. Chris Wood on target to make it 1-1 at the Vitality Stadium. Milivojevic moving a little bit more freely now on the edge of the centre circle. Seems to have run off that slight knock to his knee. Wan-Bissaka running at Ritchie and Lejeune. Not a great cross, headed away by Lascelles. So there'll be a throw to Palace, level with the edge of the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka will take the throw, gives the ball a wipe on the front of his shirt, a bit more grip. Toss towards James MacArthur. Milivojevic out to the left hand side, and Patrick Van Aert showed too much of that to Perez. And down the right hand side goes Yedlin, another goal at the Vitality Stadium. It's going goal mad.
Cork puts it back in. Lerma caught in the air. Surely comes out to McNeil, edge of the box. Burnley taken on Warman. Tries to get to the dead ball line. Rolls it into the near post. Poor clearance. Chance for 2. It is 2. Westwood makes it 2 on 20 minutes. Burnley a goal down after 4 and now 2-1 up in a matter of moments.
Fantastic stuff from Burnley, and then there's a chance for Batshuayi, but the flag is up on the near side. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but fair play Burnley. 1-0 down after 4 minutes. They're now 2-1 up after 20.
Bournemouth are not going through a very good spell, are they? They've become slightly easy to beat, or at least to score goals against, which is not something you want in the Premier League, I've got to say.
No, they had a great start to the season, didn't they?
That's what saved them, I've got to say.
Absolutely. Good job too. Lejeune just short of the halfway line. Up to Almiron. Hayden out to Shah. Crossfield pass is poor. Swallowed up by Jeffrey Schlupp. Up to Michy Batshuayi. Shrug off Lejeune's attentions. Andros Townsend now, and surely he's being held by Lejeune. He is. Free kick to Newcastle, to Palace rather. 4 goals in 13 Premier League games for Newcastle. Andros Townsend, when he was on loan from Spurs, he turned that move permanent, but then when the Magpies went down at the end of 15-16, he left, sold by Rafa Benitez. Here he is down the right hand side with a point to prove maybe, but his ball into the area is deflected out for a corner by Matt Ritchie. Palace's first corner of the game on 23 minutes.
And good play to get Townsend in the sort of inside right position, just on the edge of the box. If he slides that ball in early enough, Michy Batshuayi is clean through with just a keeper to beat. Couldn't get it past the defender.
Milivojevic will take this corner. 21 goals they've scored in 2019, Palace. Not many teams can better that record. Here comes the corner towards the near post, and hooked from just in front of the face of the goalkeeper, hooked away to safety by Salomon Rondon. Palace still have it though. Schlupp back to goal, just outside the box, to the right hand side, and Zaha skips away from 1-2 with Schlupp. He'll just about keep it in, stays on his feet brilliantly from Zaha. Oh, what play, still going close to the byline, drives the cross in, it flicks off MacArthur. Tompkins should just keep this in. If he doesn't, it's going to be a throw to Newcastle. He can't, but what play, great elasticity more than anything else from Wilfried Zaha.
Couldn't stand his feet either, he kept slipping. I'm just looking at Matt Ritchie to see if his shirt is still the same way round, because he really goes twisted up there. Honestly, lovely skill from Zaha, fantastic ability.
Dear. What was that cartoon character? Tasmanian Devil, wasn't it?
Yes, that's exactly right. Exactly right, yeah. I was getting seasickness watching Zaha there, mate. It was brilliant.
It was. That was mesmerising from Wilfried Zaha, and deserved a little better than the outcome from Crystal Palace's point of view, but they're starting to come back in this game. This is a decent game, this. 0-0 after 25 minutes. Here comes Wan-Bissaka, touched by Milivojevic, who now seems to be fully recovered from that
he's run it off.
knock to his knee. Given away by Townsend. Rondon just inside the Palace arc. Key with a first time ball over the top. That's asking quite a lot of Almiron, but he's like Quicksilver. Almiron, he's got to the byline brilliantly. Perez can't take it with him. His momentum was carrying him towards the byline and out of play, to be fair to Perez. And that allowed Palace just about to close the door.
Great play from Palace, from Newcastle. The problem is one man in the box against 4 defenders, and you look at their midfielders 20 yards outside the box. There doesn't seem to be that desire to overload the box and outnumber themselves at the back. They don't want to leave their defenders, even when they're in good attacking positions. They don't want to push too many players forward.
Mind you, you'd have to be quick to keep up with Almiron, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would. Yes, I agree.
Trying to bomb into the penalty area.
But you need more than one attacker. You have to be incredibly fortunate for the ball to land at that one attacker's feet.
Yeah, they're not playing the percentages when they come forward, certainly. Newcastle there. Here's Kelly, middle of his own half. Out to Milivojevic. Square to MacArthur. Towards the halfway line to find its way to Townsend. Laid off to Schlupp. Good covering tackle by Isaac Hayden. Thrown from the side, but it was clean. Shah's ball is just a bit too high and a bit too long for Salomon Rondon, who raises his arm in appreciation at the idea.
Both teams just there had to do better in possession. A little bit scrappy, wasn't it? Just that final ball wasn't of the quality required.
Zaha and Batshuayi can't keep it in on this near side either, so it'll be another throw to Newcastle, 5 yards or so inside their own half. Ritchie will take it, pinching a few extras as he does so. It's miles over Rondon's head though, and Milivojevic can bang it away up towards the halfway line. Zaha with a touch towards Schlupp under pressure. Key wins it back for Newcastle. Forward to Almiron, laid off to Rondon. Key has it again, thinks about a shot. Let's fly from 30 yards all the way along the ground. And goalkeeper, everything behind that, Guaita.
And you know, Sun Young Key is capable of scoring goals from distance, but scuffed that. Decent play from Newcastle. The problem is now it's just fizzling out. It's almost reverted back to the first 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes in the game, where Palace now have got possession and Newcastle are sitting back in.
Yeah, they've had a little burst, haven't they, Newcastle, and now they're almost having a bit of a breather. 29th minute at St James's Park, 0-0. A long searching ball looking for Batshuayi, but Dubravka is out to catch quite comfortably. Bang forward looking for Rondon, who's done well to lay it off with his right thigh to Hayden. Now Yedlin towards the point of the penalty area. Lovely ball to Rondon. Oh, he's put it over the bar. Best Newcastle chance of the match so far, and Salomon Rondon, despite his rich goal scoring form, has planted it over the bar.
Well, this is poor defending. Wan-Bissaka's caught out. He's got to head it back where it comes from. If he does that, I think it just glides in the far post, but it's almost like he's got a little bit excited and his head is already down before the ball's coming to him, so therefore it comes off the top of his head back straight over the bar, instead of getting his head above it and guiding it into the far corner. It's a chance.
Yeah, best chance of the match so far. There should have been double figures for Premier League goals for the Venezuelan. 9 goals and 5 assists this season. He's been involved in 45% of Newcastle's 31 Premier League goals this season. That's how influential and important that he's been. He scored in the last 2 Premier League appearances that he's made. Scored in the recent international break as well for Venezuela against Argentina, Messi and co. So a bit of a surprise that his finish was so wayward then.
Well, on the pitch for Newcastle, if there's one person you want the chance to fall to, it's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you expected him, because of who he is and where he sits in football, to put that, at least make the keeper work.
Wonderful pass to him as well.
Wonderful.
But, another warning to Palace, but 0-0 with 15 minutes to go in this first half. Ritchie comes forward again. Key will switch play from left to right. Takes it down on his chest. DeAndre Yedlin even. I'll just call him DeAndre. Here is Key. I can manage that one. And he slips. Referee doesn't see anything wrong with that challenge from Zaha. Still going. Little pirouette. It's lovely for Wilfried Zaha. Laid off to Townsend. Batshuayi's in the middle still with Andros Townsend. To be fair to Townsend, he couldn't knock the ball forward earlier because Batshuayi was offside. Yeah. It was a bit of a strange run from the Belgian striker, got to be honest.
It's good defending from, I think it was Lejeune. Very, very good defending. Pushed Townsend out and backwards.
Tompkins now back inside his own half. MacArthur will get Palace going again. Van Arnold back to the bearded James Tompkins, square to Martin Kelly, lifted down the line to Townsend. Lejeune right at his back. That's a decent ball into the pocket for Wan-Bissaka. He's in here, little looping lob into the 6-yard box, but it was just too far in front of Batshuayi.
It's a chance. Palace had 4 attackers up into the box against 5, so it's a chance. If he could have just shown a little bit of composure, but his desire was to get it into the box as quick as possible, and in his haste, more haste, less quality, unfortunately, is what occurred.
He's only 21, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's got a lot of people talking. There's already been rumours of a big money move to Manchester United in the summer, rumours of £35 million or so, but he's been terrific for Palace. 113 tackles he's made prior to today. That's the 3rd best in the league. He's weighed in with 63 interceptions as well. That's in the top 6. So for a young man to come in and perform such a key role, he's like lightning as well in terms of pace. He's already been mentioned in England circles as well. Will he stay at Palace? That's the key question. That's for another day though. Ritchie laid off to Lejeune. He'll stand it up to that far side looking for Yedlin. The ball is astute with the head to Rondon. Surely Salomon Rondon! Oh, it's saved by Guaita. Almost he wanted too much time, Salomon Rondon. And from 7 yards he's at least hit the target, but hit the goalkeeper. Ritchie dinks it back in. The goalkeeper comes out and makes an easy catch. 2 chances now for Salomon Rondon, unable to take either.
Well, he can do nothing more than that. The ball goes to the back post, headed back in by Yedlin, and Tompkins slips over a couple of times, and now he just can't get it out of his feet quick enough. And when he does, the keeper's set and ready enough to make a good save. Just couldn't get it out of his feet and away from the falling Tompkins. Rondon.
You can see why he's such a threat though. Palace can't afford to switch off for a second. They've been warned twice now. Once with a header from the edge of the 6-yard box, it was planted over the bar, and then that effort then. Here's Shah forward to Key on the edge of the centre circle. Lejeune invited to come forward, which the Frenchman does. Shah again. That's a decent dummy from Perez to let it run through to Rondon, who tried to roll it back towards Perez. Batshuayi challenging there with Perez. Referee then says play on. Ritchie whips it in low towards the area, and a stumbling Martin Kelly clears it away, and then Wan-Bissaka's clearance is up rather than away, but it's won back by Townsend. His ball is 50-50 at best towards Zaha, and Palace playing themselves into a pressurised situation here. Hayden square to Yedlin. There's a Palace player down there, appealing for the Newcastle players to knock the ball out of play, so he can get some treatment. Is it Batshuayi who's down, or possibly Townsend?
It looks like Mitzi Batshuayi, but they don't need to. It's the referee's decision.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what he does there. I've got to say, maybe knee contact with knee. It's the ref's decision as to whether he stops the game or not. It shouldn't be down to the players, and they should have carried on. It sounds cruel. If it's not a head injury,
exactly,
carry on.
There's nothing in the rules that say play has to stop, and the players are under no obligations to whack it out. It's purely at the discretion of the referee. And as Mort says there, if it's a head injury, that's a different kettle of fish. But didn't seem to be too much wrong with that challenge on Batshuayi. Maybe it was the way he fell, or maybe just banged his knee as he went through. In the meantime, another goal, not at the Vitality Stadium, where it's still 2-1 to Burnley, but a goal in the match between Huddersfield and Leicester.
Good block out as far as, oh, what a goal! Swept into the corner by Yuri Tielemans, who first time just guided it beyond Ben Hamer. That looked so simple, I can assure you it was not.
Hamer's goal has Leicester 1-0 up at Huddersfield, as Brendan Rodgers' side goes for 4 wins in a row. Michy Batshuayi is still receiving treatment, and we get a replay, and you bang on, Morts, with what happened there. Is that coming together of his right knee.
Painful, yeah, it's a contact injury, isn't it? And they're better than muscle injuries because a bit of swelling, maybe. You can run it off. It's going to be painful to start with, but at some point you better run that off, hopefully.
Yeah. Isaac Hayden, who was the man who challenged him, came across and just checked he was okay, which is nice. But he's going to be alright, I think.
He'll live.
That's why. He was hobbling, but now he's moving a bit more freely as he makes his way to the touchline to go off before he comes back on.
I think he's obligated to roll around because that's what players do these days. In my day, they used to just get up and get on with it.
You never rolled about? I can't imagine you rolling about.
No, I didn't roll about. No. We only had one set of kit and you didn't want to keep it getting dirty quickly. So you couldn't change your shirt at half time. So you don't want to, especially if the ground's wet, you don't want to be rolling about, mate.
Plus, they make you play in skins.
Exactly. Plus, the physio with a bucket of iced water is going to come around. And if anything gets you fitter quicker, it's a bucket of iced water. Yeah. Trust me.
Free kick again here, this time to Newcastle United, foul by Jeffrey Schlupp. About 10 yards or so inside the Palace half. Just bundled Oazy Perez to the ground there. We've got 7 minutes to go to half time. Still no goals here on Premier League Live between Newcastle and Crystal Palace, but it's been a decent game so far. Both these sides have had moments where they've looked likely to break the deadlock. Maybe Newcastle will here. That's a clever roll down the line from Key, and the ball is loose inside the penalty area again, and the shot from Almiron, I think, takes a deflection, does it over the bar. It looks like it's going to be a corner to Newcastle. It is.
Good play. Wasn't quite sure what they were up to. Got the ball in far too easy. There's a few ricochets. Rondon knocks it back, but again, what's happening with Newcastle? Right in the middle of the 6-yard box, the ball isn't settled in a position for them to strike it properly. It's taking its time to come down, and that's what's frustrating them.
Palace are getting bodies between Newcastle and the goal as well, which is making life harder. Outswinging corner from Ritchie, evades everybody. Batshuayi gives it away though, and Almiron might come back and bite Palace here, potentially. Ball back to him from Hayden, stayed onside. Almiron, everything on that left foot, infield to Key, 35 yards from goal. Ritchie down the left hand side. Ball into the area, asking a bit too much there of Lejeune, had stayed up from that corner. But Lascelles one-on-one against Zaha. He's got enough of a head start to get there comfortably and get it back to Dubravka. Ticking towards the last 5 minutes of the first half. Lejeune on halfway. Long ball into the left-hand channel, but that's going to skip and run away from Rondon for a goal kick.
Poor play there.
Yeah,
it's not a great ball. That's the opportunity to come out and go another way. I mean, and that's why sometimes people will look at Newcastle and say, they're not the most creative because, they put the ball in the channels, which is not really good football.
Kelly with the ball out of defence, but it's intercepted by Almiron.
Works hard out.
He does, yeah.
When they haven't got the ball.
Excellent, yeah, he does. Paraguay international, picked up from the MLS.
Strange, not many MLS players come over and make a success of it.
No, and obviously there's a massive gap in quality in the two leagues, but he looks very much at home on the evidence we've seen so far in this 40 minutes, and on the evidence of the 3 months he spent at St James's Park. Wan-Bissaka for Palace with a strong run forward. Tries to shrug off Lejeune. He's done well to take two Newcastle markers with him. His cross has come off the back of Matt Ritchie, and it goes away for a corner to Palace. Chance late in this first half to load the Newcastle box. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. There'll be a bit of that to add on after that stoppage to Batshuayi. Milivojevic with it. It's The edge of the 6-yard box and turned in by Tompkins. Really tidy finish from the centre half. Really crisp, almost volley past the goalkeeper, but the referee has blown. I'm not sure the goal is going to stand. It isn't. The flag is up. It's been chalked off.
Well, it looks like they're going to give offside. I mean, to be honest, it was a great finish. Good, decent cross, good touch, just inside the 6-yard box, just outside the 6-yard box. Good finish from Tompkins. It looks like it's going to be chalked. Yep, it's chalked off straight off the bat. No discussion whatsoever. It's given offside, the referee. Not happy the Palace lot, delighted Newcastle.
Yeah, very, very relieved, I suspect as well, Newcastle. We're getting a view of it now from the corner from Milivojevic. He was totally free, Tompkins.
I see it. It makes perfect sense.
It is offside, and these days, of course, he went to play the ball as well, James MacArthur. I mean, if he hadn't played the ball, he still would have been offside because he's obstructing the view of the goalkeeper, which you can't have now. So, absolutely the right decision. But Tompkins shakes the head. You can understand why he's annoyed.
Yeah, you feel aggrieved they're taking the ball off you. This is going to just spice it up just that little bit more, because Palace haven't seen what we've seen, so they'll have the but once they see it, I think they'll understand.
Here's a chance for Almiron. Heavy first touch, and Kelly comes across to work it away for another corner. He thumps the ground in frustration, Almiron. Well, had he had a right foot then, he might have been in business.
It's about being confident. I kind of thought Almiron was waiting for contact, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he didn't drive at it, didn't take that ball with confidence. He took it, and there was he looked unsure about what he was going to do. And I really got a sense he was waiting. Someone's going to clunk him in a minute, and he was waiting for that.
Yeah. Sort of just about to sense the being cleaned out, wasn't he?
Yeah, really? And clunk is a technical term, by the way, for everyone listening.
I like it. There should be more clunking.
Oh, this would be a great time to score, by the way.
Here's Ritchie on that far side for the first time, whipping it in towards the near post with that left foot. It's flicked off the head of Lascelles, and to relative safety for Palace. Batshuayi will clear it up towards the halfway line, and then MacArthur and Hayden come together. Referee has to sort that out because it looked like 50-50 there, really. The momentum of both players.
Yeah. It's a foul, though. I think it's a foul. The ref tried to play advantage, and I think it was Zaha. The pitch is somewhat slippery. You know, more than 3 or 4 players have slipped over it at certain points in the game.
Especially Zaha.
Yeah.
When he's tried to pull out a few tricks. He's been all over the shop. In terms of keeping his feet, not in terms of his play, because he's been very dangerous when he's been in possession. Long ball forward straight down the middle from Tompkins, but too strong. Dubravka comes out to gather. Long ball out of defence. Looking for
stays on.
Rondon. Has he kept it in? He has, but again his momentum has carried him out of play. Goes back to Guaita and clears it to the halfway line. And foul by Batshuayi on Lascelles. It looks like it might be. 2 minutes of added on time, I reckon, at the end of this first half. Out by Batshuayi to Zaha, back in field to dispossessed well by Almiron, and now Ritchie on the left. Oh, he's nutmegged MacArthur and fouled surely there. Well, MacArthur, I suppose, couldn't really have done anything else and got out of the middle of the road, but again, excellent play by Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. Once the nutmeg's in, he's going for the ball, and as he lifts his foot off the floor at an angle, Ritchie just slips the ball between, and MacArthur now is taking a swipe at the ball, completely misses it because he's not there. He's going through his legs back the other way, and he catches Matt Ritchie, who was ready for it, to be truthfully honest.
Yeah, nicely worked by Ritchie. Knew that he was probably not going to pick up his own little nutmeg, so he's won his team this free kick in a promising position.
It's a weird one because Salomon Rondon is on the ball. Now, good, because he's going in the box. So I want to be up. No, he's not. He's coming back. I'd want to cross it for him. Is he going to shoot?
Looks like it's set up. Look at that. The ball is almost level with the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side as Newcastle address it. Ritchie and Rondon, but it is going to be Rondon who curls it towards the far side, and I don't know what to make of that, Morts, other than it's a goal kick.
Well, For me, Rondon should be off the ball. We want to be curving it to you. So, get yourself in the box.
But it wasn't even close to being an attempt at goal in that respect.
Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Seen the goal again. Roy Hodgson's fuming. He shouldn't really be, because MacArthur's in the goalkeeper's line, Dubravka's line of sight, and he goes for the ball.
Yeah. Apart from that, it's a legit goal.
It's a legit.
That's a poor piece of play by Martin Kelly. He's rightly going to get the book out as well here, referee. Yes, Stuart Atwell shows the first yellow card of the match.
Yes, poor
Kelly tugging on Almiron.
Almiron's got him on toast, and as he tries to move past him, he literally just pulls him back. Now there's another defender. I think Tompkins is coming round, so it's nothing to do with any sending off or anything, but the ref's giving him a booking, yellow card.
Last chance of the first half to try and get something here. 30 seconds of injury time to go. Ritchie sweeps it in. It's decent. It's a double-fisted punch by the goalkeeper, Guaita. And that is the last action of the first half. 0-0 at the break, but not really a fair reflection, because it's been entertaining stuff at times. Both these sides could have scored. Salomon Rondon with two very good chances in the first half. One planting a header over the bar from 6 yards, and then again from a similar distance, just hitting the goalkeeper through a crowded penalty area. Palace did have the ball in the back of the net through James Tompkins from Milivojevic's corner, but quite rightly ruled out for offside, with James McCarthy right in front of the goalkeeper. Half time, it's Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor. If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Alexander Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, heads it goalwards. Oh, Lloris has missed it, it's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Knockout for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot. Curly one! Oh, it's a stunner! Anthony Knockout gives Brighton the lead again! In a goal that will be played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the top corner, and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse. He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick. Hazard into the corner. What a goal from Eden Hazard. That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
0-0 at half-time in the feature match between Newcastle United and Crystal Palace, but there are two other games going on at the same time as this one, and here are the best bits of all three matches.
30 yards out, Fraser curls it in. Flicked header. 1-0. Own goal. I believe it's Ashley Barnes. There's a flag up. We'll wait to see exactly what's gone on here. Good finish by Ashley Barnes. Shame it's the wrong end of the goal. Corner comes in. Begovic is right, and there should be one. Each it is. It's Chris Wood with the simplest of headers at the back post. Full clearance, chance for two. It is two. Westwood makes it two on 20 minutes. Burnley a goal down after 4, and now 2-1 up in a matter of moments.
Oh, what a goal! Swept into the corner by Yuri Tielemans, who first time just guided it beyond Ben Hamer. That looked so simple. I can assure you it was not.
The edge of the 6-yard box and turned in by Tompkins. Really tiny finish from the centre half, but the referee has blown. I'm not sure the goal is going to stand. It isn't. The flag is up. It's been chalked off. Yeah, James Tompkins will be a little bit cross with James MacArthur there, because he was standing in the line of the goalkeeper's sight, and then he made an attempt to play the ball. If he'd not been there, I think the goalkeeper would have saved it anyway, but it was a lovely connection from Tompkins as he swept it in almost on the volley from Milivojevic's corner. Who will be the happier at the break, Paul Mortimer? Will it be Rafa or will it be Roy?
Rafa, probably. They've done okay. I mean, Palace have had spells where you think, do you know what, they could nick a goal here, but you know, I think that the Newcastle have been far more offensive than I thought they would. Actually, they've actually had good chances. I think they should have made the keeper work on a couple of occasions, but it's one of those games that at the moment could go either way. So, you know, Palace, they've been looking at each other to tighten up a bit, you know, and you know what, it could be a bit of brilliance or an individual mistake, because that's how tight this one is.
Your old team, Palace, started really well, didn't they? Very impressive, not looking like the side that have struggled recently at all. They've won 3 and lost 3 in the last 6. They've been a bit up and down, but started with a great amount of confidence and an early chance for Jeffrey Schlupp. He should have at least hit the target. But I mean, Palace are doing what we know Palace are very good at, which is breaking on the counter, and in Bissaka coming up from the back, and in Townsend and in Zaha. Again, they have the tools, don't they? They look like they're gonna score goals.
They have weapons, and they've got someone up front in Batshuayi who will hold the ball up, link play a little bit more. Zaha hasn't really, as well as they've played, he's not really featured as much as he normally does, and that's a good thing for them, because they're playing well, and it's more of a team performance than giving the ball to Zaha and hoping that he produces something.
So what have they got to do in the second half for you then?
They've just got to do the same, but with a bit more urgency and a little bit more consistency and belief, you know, that we can actually drive on, because the final pass, the final cross isn't quite there at the moment, and that's just about belief. That's about tightening up and getting things done sharper, and just having a little bit more desire to get in the box and get on the end of things.
What about defensively for Palace? Because they have been stretched at times, but for some pretty wayward finishing from Salomon Rondon, which has been out of character given how well he's done in terms of converting his chances recently. They can't keep on doing that.
No, they can't, and it's in transition sometimes when they're attacking and they give the ball away. It's almost like, simply put, some of them aren't running back quick enough. You know, it's a little bit of that, and also there's been a couple of crosses come in that the first one hasn't been dealt with properly, and the ball's stayed in the box, it's bounced, stayed in the box, and Newcastle just haven't been able to get the ball out of their feet quick enough to get a proper shot on target.
So as it stands, it's a point apiece for Newcastle and Crystal Palace. It doesn't really do much for sealing their place in the Premier League for next season. No, mathematically nothing will be decided today, even if they do win the game, but they are clear at the moment of Cardiff City. Elsewhere, Brighton, Burnley now have swapped places. Burnley, as it stands, they're winning their game at Bournemouth, so they're leapfrogging Brighton and Southampton. They're going up to 15th spot at the moment. 8 points clear of the bottom three. Cardiff now occupying the last and only available relegation spot. Southampton now feeling the heat because they have dropped to 17th spot. Brighton on the same number of points as the Saints, but they do have a better goal difference, and they have a game in hand because they're not in action in Premier League today, of course, but they are in action in the FA Cup. A really big day for the Seagulls and Chris Hughton there at Wembley to take on Manchester City, of course. Can they upset City, and can they blow apart City's hopes of winning the quadruple? We'll hear from Hughton in just a second, but first the thoughts of the Manchester City head coach Pep Guardiola.
I think when I was young in Catalonia, so it was most quite usual to see the final, the FA Cup, than the Premier League games. So in the tradition in old Wembley, you know, the both managers going there in front of the players, so the oldest trophy. So I've never been there, and I cannot deny how nice it would be personally, but I think for the players as well and for the club. So the club won, I think, 5 times the FA Cup, so it's not too many in all history, so we have the challenge to get another one, so we tried.
This is probably to put a perspective on, you know, how it is to be a manager that you want to really enjoy, but it's difficult. Because, you know, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to be part of a game that you can play a big part in as a team, and of course have an opportunity. But we know it can go either way. We know that that can happen, you know, or we come up against a brilliant Man City team on the day that it's very difficult to do too much about.
Paul Mortimer, your thoughts on this FA Cup semi-final? I've got a lot of time for Chris Hughton, and I think he's done a terrific job at Brighton. I think he's a very good manager, full stop, really. What price an upset today?
Well, the thing about it, Brighton are not in good form.
No.
You know, that's why they're down the bottom of the table. This is one of them. It's going to depend on what Man City want to do. I saw them play a game recently where they went 2-0 up. I think it was Fulham last week. They went 2-0 up and stopped playing because they're prioritising. And I think that's what could happen. It's not going to be 5s and 6s, which if Man City were at it could definitely be. I think that even on a bad day, they're going to have too much firepower for Brighton, because too much has to go right for Brighton to win it. They have to catch Man City on a bad day. They have to take their chances, which is something they've not been doing. They've got to defend properly, and the goalkeeper's got to have a worldie. The planets have to align, and it's just too much to ask because they're just such a good side, Man City.
Let's see, anything can happen though, Morts. Anything can happen. Live commentary from Wembley, Manchester City against Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final to come. More immediately though, it's the second half from St James's Park. Newcastle against Palace. No goals at the moment. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor. If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Under Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, heads it goal. Oh, Lloris has missed it. It's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
He's knockout for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot. Curling one!
What a great
it's a
finish.
stunner! Anthony Knockout gives Brighton the lead again! In a goal that will be played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the
corner, and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse. He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick. Hazard into the corner! What a goal from Eden Hazard! That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Newcastle United against Crystal Palace from St James's Park. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Alongside me is the former Charlton, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace winger, Paul Mortimer. This is Premier League Live. Players emerging from the mouth of the tunnel, coming up the steps onto the pitch here at St James's Park. Always a brilliant place to come and watch football. The away fans might disagree to a certain extent because they're way up
in the gods. I think their seats come with binoculars, don't they?
They do. Yeah, binoculars as standard. But so far they're going back to South London with a point. No goals at the break, with both these sides enjoying periods where they've been in the ascendancy and looked like breaking the deadlock. Newcastle certainly have had two very good chances falling to Salomon Rondon, but he couldn't convert. Palace have actually had the ball in the back of the net, but rightly ruled out for offside. James MacArthur standing in front of goalkeeper Martin Dubravka from James Tompkins's volley from Milivojevic's corner. And Newcastle get the second half underway in their black and white striped shirts with black shorts and white socks, kicking from left to right in this second period. Palace in their home kit as well of red and blue shirts with blue shorts and blue socks. Newcastle immediately onto the front foot. Perez linking up with Rondon, and then Key shooting from distance again, as he's done a number of times to career in this match so far, and just like all the other times he's not troubled the goalkeeper.
Well, he's not got his shooting boots on today. You know, that'll go down as in the stats as a shot at goal. It really shouldn't, should it? It really shouldn't. Some of them don't deserve even a mention on the stats.
No.
But that one's made the cut, hasn't it? Which is not quite right, is it, really?
He's only making his third appearance of 2009, Ki Sung-young.
Long injury. He had long-term injury, didn't he?
Yes. Was it his knee?
Yeah, and they missed his quality. He's a quality player.
Ball down the line here, looking for Almiron, who's been a very effervescent presence in this match so far. Ritchie's also been influential, has won his team the first corner of the second half. Newcastle's 6th overall.
And again, good industry down the left. I mean, Ritchie is literally full-back come wing-back come winger. You know, it must be a weird position for him, because he is a wide player. He's a winger. He's a left midfielder. He's not a full-back, but he's doing a great job down there with Almiron.
Key rolls it forward short and whipped in by Ritchie, headed away by Kelly, who's on a yellow card, levered back in by Almiron, and Shah was there on the edge of the 6-yard box, but it was too high for him, and behind for a goal kick to Palace. The two teams line up like this. Newcastle have Martin Dubravka in goal, a back five from right to left of DeAndre Yedlin, Fabian Shah, Jamal Lascelles, Florian Lejeune and Matt Ritchie, with Miguel Almiron and Oyosi Perez the wide players principally in midfield, with Isaac Hayden and Ki Sung-young in midfield, with Salomon Rondon up front. Palace in a 4-3-3. I'll tell you about that in a second, because Zaha is on the scamp here. A step over and a left-footed cross is a really tasty one into the area. It's away from Batshuayi, but Wan-Bissaka will pick it up. Wide on that right-hand side, close to the byline. Clip cross towards the far post. Volleyed back in by Zaha. An instinctive stooping header by Schlupp from 8 yards is just wide of that left-hand post.
There's a couple of things I couldn't quite work out. The initial Zaha burst down the left wing and cutback. Where are all the rest of the players? There was just no Palace players. So the ball goes out the other end, and Wan-Bissaka does really well. Overhits the cross really, but he manages to dig it back, Zaha, and Schlupp. Great reactions actually to get his head on that, but it's always drifting wide.
Yeah, it was coming at him quickly, Schlupp, and he did the best he could actually. But again, bodies not getting forward quick enough in support. Perez shrugs off Tompkins and finds Almiron approaching the point of the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka is close to him. Here's Isaac Hayden right on the point of the box. Key out to Ritchie. Townsend comes across and does well to nick it off him. Andros Townsend is in the right back position, facing his own goal. He's cleared it away, but it'll come back at Palace, away by Kelly, further away by Milivojevic, and he goes down in a rather exaggerated manner, the Crystal Palace captain, inside his own box. And that challenge from Perez, and the way that the captain went down accentuated the contact, but it did the job, and Palace get the free kick.
It's a foul, but that's about it. At the moment, neither team wants to blink, do they? Neither team wants to overcommit. I've seen both times the ball's gone forward, and neither team has really thrown people in the box wanting to go and score goals. So very much a little bit chess-like at the moment, where people are just not prepared to really overcommit.
Really good if they had two giant clocks at either side, and they've had the ball. Then Hodgson comes across and just bangs it down, and it activates Benitez, and vice versa. I'd like to see that more in football.
Yeah, it would speed everything up, wouldn't it? And you have to be committed then, don't you? Because you've only got a little bit of time.
Here is Batshuayi, takes it down on his chest on the edge of the centre circle. Can't find Townsend. Milivojevic strokes it out to Wan-Bissaka. Will now try and exercise Ritchie. That's a good ball to the feet of Batshuayi. He wants to go the long way around Lascelles, and there's quite a bit of Lascelles to get around, to be fair.
Well, it's a great bit of defending, but then he blindly panics and just hashes the ball away, and I don't see why he needed to do that.
Here's Patrick Van Arnold. It opens up for him towards the edge of the D. Can't locate Batshuayi.
It should be a booking too.
That's a nip at the back by Tompkins on Rondon. He's run away with purpose, James Tompkins, hoping the referee isn't going to do any more than just blow the whistle for the free kick.
You know what? I can't be asked to defend, so I'm just going to kick him. It literally was one of them. Look, I'm not even going to bother to defend. I'm just going to kick him. And you know what? I don't think anyone saw it. It's almost like that's ridiculous. It really is.
Yes, he's lucky there, Tompkins, because that could easily have been a yellow card. But referee Atwell has decided not. Does have 6 bookings already this season in the Premier League, James Tompkins. Here's Shah for Newcastle, just inside his own half down the right hand side. Perez flicks it forward but doesn't find Rondon. Might get a second opportunity here against MacArthur, but in comes Schlupp with a muscular challenge.
It's become a midfield battle, hasn't it, more than anything else?
A bit attritional now.
Yes.
Key finds Lascelles. Forward comes Lejeune. Perez showed a bit too much of that to Milivojevic, but Almiron has won it back, and now Ritchie checks inside Townsend, dinked in with the right foot, chest down by Perez. And the finish is high over the bar. He's appealing for a corner. I think he might get it as well.
Well, it's lovely skill from Matt Ritchie. The problem is there's no pace on the ball whatsoever. And then when he brings it, he controls it with his chest, Ozzy Perez. It takes an age to come down. And again, it just won't sit right for him to have a go at.
They have won this corner, though. Took a flick off the defender as it went over from Perez. So Ritchie again from that far side. An out-swinging corner. Lejeune with a header, and he's straight at the keeper. A really, really good chance for the Frenchman. Either side of Guaita, and the Palace keeper was struggling.
Well, it's woeful defending. Lejeune starts from the edge of the box and no one is marking him. Absolutely no one. It's a free header.
Should have scored.
I think he should score. But, I mean, it's right ball, wrong player. If it goes to an attack-minded player, that's in the net and Palace are 1-0 down. This zonal marking on the edge of the 6-yard box means no one takes responsibility. They just mark areas. Doesn't come to your area, not your responsibility.
Ball towards Perez on the slide, and Guaita comes out just in time to beat the Newcastle man to it. Hasn't scored in 35 Premier League games prior to today, Florian Lejeune, but he should have done there.
Yeah, he should have done better there, I've got to say. Here's that long ball. A great run, and it's just a little bit too firm for Jose Perez, and Guaita gets it and catches it quite well. Don't know what's going on here, though.
The referee's having a word with James MacArthur for something he said, but that's all it'll be, a word. Richie takes the throw for Newcastle. In slides Wan-Bissaka to concede the throw. Newcastle inching forward here. This throw is level with the edge of the Palace penalty area. 54 minutes gone at St James's. Still 0-0 here on Premier League Live. Almiron has a hand in the chest of Milivojevic to keep him literally at arm's length. And Newcastle think they've won the throw, but they haven't. It's gone Palace's way. Another goal in the game between Huddersfield and Leicester.
Oh, and there's Vardy to tap in for 2-0. What a horrible defensive mix-up for Huddersfield Town. A cross came in from the right wing. Defender and goalkeeper both got in one another's way. And there was Vardy from close range to gratefully accept the gift.
Not a good afternoon for Huddersfield so far. Relegated last week, of course, by Crystal Palace. They're now losing by 2-0 at home to Leicester. Almiron has been fouled here by MacArthur again. He's got to be careful. He's already had one word from the referee. Any more persistent fouling, I think he's going to get a card.
I think it's going to happen at some point. He's got to be careful.
This free kick is getting on for 35 yards from goal, left of centre. Rondon is over it again, as is Lejeune.
He's not shooting from here, is he? Because I've got to say, it would have to explode off his foot like an exocet. It's just too far away, isn't it? It's got to be.
Well, it's Rondon, not Ronaldo. But let's see. Here he goes, right-footed. It's over the wall, and it's comfortably over the crossbar as well. I love the little look back towards the turf.
He's looking at the turf.
It's a play. Oh dear, a lie of the ball or something. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Salomon Rondon, because he certainly should have had one goal, maybe two this afternoon. And he's had two set pieces now, and both of them have been pretty hopeless.
Yeah, he's got to be off him now, hasn't he?
Yeah,
that wasn't very good, I've got to say. I mean, I've seen him score from a couple of very good free kicks, but that one was just a little bit too far out.
10 minutes gone in this second half, still 0-0. More action in the game between Huddersfield and Leicester to get to in just a second. Here's Ritchie planting it down the line here for Almiron. Is he caught by Wan-Bissaka? He is. Free kick to Newcastle. Again, this is in a potentially troubling situation. A penalty to Huddersfield now. Let's go there.
Well, will Schmeichel come up with a save? It's Moy who sends Schmeichel the wrong way and gives Huddersfield Town hope in this game.
Well, maybe there is hope of a comeback there for Huddersfield as they look to end the Premier League season with some kind of pride. Rock bottom down in the Championship, of course, for next season, but they have half the deficit. It's now 2-1 down to Leicester. Level the edge of the penalty area, then this free kick for Newcastle. Looks like it might be an outswinger from Ritchie. It is headed away by the man who conceded the free kick in the first place, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And then that's a terrible ball out to the right hand side. But he's getting applause, is Isaac Hayden from Almedon. That's generous.
I don't know what for.
Very generous.
Oh my dear, Andy Farrell young Farrell would have been happy with that one, kicking to touch. It's a rugby player. It's a rugby shot to touch. It's very poor quality, I've got to say.
Yeah, game has just decayed a little bit in the last few moments, if we're being honest. 0-0 still at St James's Park. With these two sides chasing the one victory that will almost certainly guarantee Premier League survival next season, if not mathematically. Here's Key for Newcastle. He's run into too many Palace players, but they give it away. Here's Almedon away from Schlupp, lays it to the right hand side, and that's a terrific effort from Yedlin. Has the goalkeeper flying high to his right to cover that top corner of the net, and it whistles just past the post.
Well, Isaac Hayden wants to shoot, doesn't, passes it to Almiron, who should shoot on his, but hasn't got a right foot, goes to Yedlin, and that slice you think is going to put it in the top corner, but he starts it too far out, and it's got a little bit too much to do, and doesn't cut in as it should do. But it's good, positive play from Newcastle, and you listen to the crowd, they're getting going as well.
Yeah, it's a two-way thing. They need something to shout about, the fans, and that was a bit better from DeAndre Ledlin. He scored against Manchester City at the start of September. That's the one goal he's had so far this season.
16 attempts at goal from Newcastle, so that's a positive. It just depends on how many have been on target.
Yeah, not many, I wouldn't have thought. Might get the answer in a second when they give us the stat. It'd be nice of them. Newcastle have it on halfway. Back it goes to Shah. Lifted forward to Rondon. It shows good strength to hold off on these two Palace players. And now Perez linking up with Almiron. Back to Rondon. It's a heavy touch from him though. And the chance goes. Van Arnold gets a bit lucky with the clearance off Almiron. A little back heel is beautiful from Zaha. This is a lovely counter potentially here. Batshuayi dropping deep on halfway. Feels Wan-Bissaka now to Townsend, who wants the foul.
Oh, he's hurt himself
against Lejeune.
Lejeune's in a bit of trouble. They don't go down like that. He's hurt himself.
Has he tweaked that knee, Lejeune?
Looks like he may have.
Well, he made that.
Oh, he's in pain.
That gesture to the bench.
Yeah. Knew it straight.
We'll get a chance to see the replay here. He's just twisted his knee, hasn't he? Making that challenge. It's the left knee that's just gone at not a very nice angle.
Yes.
Caught his studs maybe in the turf.
Well, he's coming off. No doubt in my mind. He's in absolute agony at the moment. And you just hope that it's not too serious. Innocuous, really, because the challenge is gone. And he's just, like you say, caught his studs in the turf, and that was that. Not very nice.
No, he's still down. He was hitting the turf in pain. Knew immediately as he just jarred that left knee as he went in for the challenge. And now they're going to have to make a change here. Newcastle. They do have Federico Fernandez and Paul Dummett available on the bench to see who makes way, but that's
he's already. Oh, he already knows, doesn't he? The minute he goes down, he's signalling for substitution, and he's in big pain.
Stretcher is on for him, but he's not being loaded off onto it yet. He's just in too much discomfort.
And you never like to see something like that happening. You really don't.
Newcastle will have to make the change. He's still lying flat on his back. Lejeune. Here comes more help. The St John's ambulance crew in their fluorescent green-yellow jackets. There's quite a crowd now gathered around Florian Lejeune, who's got his hands covering his face, strapping up that leg before they lift him and put him on that bright orange stretcher. There's some ice going on in there, and they're putting that protective casing on that left leg as well, just to keep everything stable. 3 Newcastle United players are around the head of Lejeune. There's It's going to be a change for Crystal Palace as well. They're going to use this break to try and freshen things up. Christian Benteke is going to be brought on.
I wonder if they're going to go 2 up front, or they're going to stick with 1 and Batshuayi comes off, because they very rarely take Zaha off. So maybe Townsend, I don't know. But yeah, this is they're putting his leg in a protective. I'm not quite sure what that is. It's just a protective casing to keep it straight.
Keep it straight and not aggravate the injury anymore. If it is a knee ligament that's gone,
looks like it. I mean, again, you can always tell by how long this takes. So they're taking their time. They're making sure it's right before they move him at all. I think that's just like a cryocuff thing, which what they do is they compress it so that it blows up and holds everything in place. It's almost like that. It's got a little pump attached to it, and so they're doing everything they can to make sure that he's fine.
Well, he's now on the stretcher, Florian Lejeune. You can no doubt hear the sympathetic round of applause that he's getting from the 50-odd thousand inside St James's Park. So while he gets ready to be lifted and carried from the field, and both sides get ready to make the change, we've got news of another goal at the Vitality Stadium in the match between Bournemouth and Burnley.
Chance here for Barnes, it's 3-1. How was that unfolding? The Bournemouth fans are absolutely beside themselves because Martin Atkinson has awarded the goal. Burnley go 3-1 up. It looked as though Charlie Taylor had taken the ball out of play.
Scored at both ends then has Ashley Barnes. His own goal put Bournemouth in front, but Burnley have struck back in some style, now leading by 3 goals to 1. Benteke is on and Lejeune is off. Dummett has come on for Lejeune. Dummett has been given a run in the side with the absence of Fabian Schär with his 2-match suspension, so it's not a long break from the team from him, but certainly not in the circumstances that he would have wanted. Van Arnold.
Batshuayi's gone off.
Yeah, we'll confirm the Palace substitution in just a second. Here's Zaha trying to get inside the area. He's done so, and he's won the corner off Lascelles.
I actually think this is where Zaha could be a match winner. Zaha in and around the box is going to be difficult for the players to deal with, and one touch and he's over, and he draws fouls like you wouldn't believe. He really is a very good player with the ball at his feet.
It is Michy Batshuayi who's gone off. Christian Benteke has come on. Here comes the corner for Palace. It's right under the crossbar. Good goalkeeping from Dubravka to punch it away, and there is Rondon on the edge of his own box to hammer it further clear. Almiron against Wan-Bissaka. It's 1-on-1 at the moment, and Almiron has kept it alive well on that left-hand side with Perez. They've got bodies in the middle here. One is Rondon, but it's too close to the keeper. Guaita makes the catch.
A good goalkeeping at both ends. It's now all of a sudden taken on a frantic purpose, isn't it? It's incredible now. Both teams seem to want to go for the win. It's incredible. It really has changed. 25 minutes to go. It's been a topsy-turvy match from that perspective. Both sides having their periods of real dominance and look like they're going to score, and then they go into their shells and look like they're going to concede any minute. And now with that injury to Lejeune and the change for both these sides, then we are going to see a different dimension in the game going forward. Here's Zaha trying to get into the penalty area. Referee blows his whistle, not for a penalty. He's won more than his fair share this season, Wilfried Zaha. Yeah, it's never a foul.
But no.
It's never a penalty, sorry. DeAndre Yedlin is quick enough, just gets in front of Zaha, who just nudges him, and it's a definite foul for Newcastle. Good defending as well to recover back so quickly.
It was good. 9 penalties he's won this season, if you're wondering, for Crystal Palace. Wilfried Zaha, most in the Premier League. I think only Eden Hazard has been fouled more often than him as well.
That's not a surprise.
So no. But Not even a hint of a spot kick there. Newcastle bring it away. Down the line. Good nifty footwork there from Perez to lift it away from Tompkins. He's on the scamper once more. That's a good ball into the penalty. Here is Rondon, takes it down on his chest. Wan-Bissaka is there to clear it away. Terrific defending from the youngster. Because Kenny slipped, didn't he?
They have to try and take it first time, Rondon. He has to try and take it first time, but it's not possible.
Perez, well, it's Almiron actually, attempted to go around Tompkins, but too canny, the former West Ham man. But Palace give it away. Schlupp the guilty party, and then surely he's bundled over his man. He has just pushed Shah in the back there, Jeffrey Schlupp, right under the nose of the assistant referee. Free kick all day long.
That's a foul, simple as that. He's lost the ball, he's got the ump, and he's just pushed him over. It's a definite foul, and a set piece as we see the chance. Again, good play from Jose Perez, decent ball in, but Tompkins slips, and he's got to take that first time, Rondon. If he takes a touch, the defender is always coming round to cover.
How does he take that first time? With a header, or does he wrap his foot around it?
He's got to get his foot around it, but again, it's about being prepared. I mean, he didn't really see Wan-Bissaka. His eyes lit up, he's thinking one touch and I'm going to win the game for us.
Looks a bit off the pace, doesn't he, Rondon? A little bit.
Yeah.
Richie sweeps it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. MacArthur with the header away, and Wan-Bissaka is there to complete the clearance, but no great yardage. But Tom to Townsend, but he can't lever it away either.
Well, from where we're sitting in this gantry, as it's gone in, you think, oh, this is heading for the far post.
Yeah.
But the angle sort of was quite deceptive, and they cleared it really well, Palace.
Van Arnott with the throw down the left-hand side, flicked forward by Benteke. Now Schlupp, away by Shah. Rondon, Perez. Rondon wants the foul by Milivojevic. He's going to get it as well. And on his knees, Rondon just shrugs his shoulders and says, well, of course it was a foul, to the Crystal Palace captain. The two of them exchange a few words.
It's a foul. I can't see the complaining, although he does squeal. We can hear it from here. Rondon squealing.
You can tell him that he squealed.
I'll tell him, stop squealing. You're the big number 9. Newcastle's big number 9 does not squeal. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that is true, actually. 20 minutes to go, plus a considerable bit of stoppage time, you'd imagine. 0-0 here at St James's on Premier League Live. Newcastle with this free kick. Key sweeps it in, headed away by Tompkins, and that's a shove in the back on Zaha by Ritchie. And he's not going to get away from that.
Always makes me laugh when players commit fouls and then put their hands up and say, what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the two hands pushing him in the back, but that's okay.
Contact sport ref.
Yeah, contact sport ref, come on. John Shelby's strange, isn't he? He was always the first name on the sheet, and he's struggled over the last couple of months to get inside.
Yeah, he's warming up now, though. The former Liverpool man.
Could do with someone creative like him, couldn't they, in the middle of the park?
Yeah, I mean, Key and Hayden are a bit similar, aren't they, I suppose? Well, to the degree that Key isn't quite as creative as Shelby might be. Maybe Shelby with Hayden is a better mix. Maybe that's what we'll see from Rafa. Tompkins stretching forward with purpose here. Schlupp. Townsend, point to the penalty area. Cross is blocked. Have another go. Yedlin can't repel it completely. Here's Zaha. Still Wilfred Zaha. He's taken a tumble and can't win the free kick. Almiron on the counter.
Tompkins is struggling, by the way.
Perez swept into no man's land, only to Christian Benteke. Wan-Bissaka back to Benteke, and now he just rolls it out of play, so Tompkins can receive some treatment here. He's on all fours, James Tompkins, so whether he's just sort of having a breather or maybe he's winded. Get a replay. No, it's his groin, isn't it?
Oh, you could see him in agony as he... Oh, he's just felt it as he's... Oh, that is painful. That is painful. Looks like he's just tweaked his groin, and he will be coming off.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's in pain.
Put his hand up straight away, James Tompkins. So his afternoon is done. They could go Scott down, or they could go Joel Ward. They'll probably go Scott down, won't they, here?
Yeah, it looks like Scott down. Ready-made replacement coming on in this one, phasing.
Shame for Tompkins. He's denied a goal in the first half by James MacArthur standing in an offside position in front of the goalkeeper and then making it worse by trying to play the ball. And Tompkins has now got his arm around the Crystal Palace physio.
It's painful.
And he's being helped from the field, hobbling markedly. And Scott Dann is going to come on. He was back in the side before they played Spurs. He was left out of that one, put back on the bench. But he's on for his only 6th appearance of the season. All of those have come since January.
Well, looking at Tompkins, he's going to have a few weeks of game time, I would say, Scott Dann.
Yeah. Because that looks nasty for
painful
Tompkins, and every step will potentially aggravate it, won't it? Make it worse, make the injury worse. Here's Benteke, just inside the Newcastle half. Is there a winning goal in this match? 0-0 with 17 minutes to go. Palace win the corner off DeAndre Yedlin, their 4th of the match. They have scored 21 goals in 2019, Palace. Only City, Liverpool and Arsenal can better that. Didn't score at Tottenham in the week. That was the first time they've drawn a blank since the turn of the year. We're heading for another one here unless they can find something. Benteke and Dann, the two substitutes in there for this corner. Set towards the far side. Dann is in there. It's taken a flick, I think, off a Newcastle player. It has. Lascelles goes across to dispute that with the assistant referee, but it has gone Palace's way.
It's a difficult one because Dubravka's come out for it completely in no man's land. Don't know where he was going to get the coffees, I think. Don't know where he was going. And it's lucky that I think one of the Newcastle players got there first.
Yeah, Dummett definitely took a flick off his bleach blonde head. And this time it's Palace who are annoyed. They thought they had a throw almost level with the edge of the Newcastle box, but it's gone the other way. Tossed towards the halfway line, flicked on by Rondon. Dann nods it towards Townsend, but it's gone out of play once more. Header by Kelly. MacArthur gets a bit lucky off Perez. Newcastle win it back eventually, and they feed Rondon down the right hand side, level the edge of the penalty area, swept in by Yedlin, a bit too strong. Wan-Bissaka with a header away, too far for Townsend to collect. Dummett back to him from Almiron. Almiron wants it again. Buzzing presence, Paraguayan. That's a poor ball towards Key. It was telegraphed and intercepted by Wan-Bissaka. And now Schlupp through the centre circle, up to Benteke. That's a good ball from Benteke. If Townsend's got the legs, but he hasn't quite. Cleared away by Almiron, had checked back with his run. Right idea from Benteke, but yeah, the execution wasn't quite up to it.
Poorly executed. It's a shame because it was a good counter-attack there. I think it's Key coming up.
Are we going to see John Joe Shelby then? Off comes Ki Sung-young, and indeed we are. The familiar shaved head of John Joe Shelby.
Creative spark. I think he's very good on the ball. On his day, match winner in terms of setting people up, setting up chances and dictating the way play goes. But haven't seen as much of that in the last few weeks and months.
No, he hasn't started a Premier League game since early November against Watford. And he's off the bench for the last 14 minutes here. Can he provide the creative spark Newcastle need, and this game needs really at the moment? It's heading towards another 0-0, just like the first meeting at Selhurst Park back in August. Shelby with his first touch, out to Yedlin, level with the edge of the penalty area. Rolled in field. Back it comes to Shelby, and not a great clearance by Dann. Here's Yedlin, away by MacArthur. and now levered back in by Shelby. He's been in the thick of it since he came on, and Townsend will volley it away on the edge of his own box, dumb it with a strong header back in. Hayden finds Perez. Yedlin wants it again, he's going to get it as well. Perez continues his run into the channel, blocked by Van Arnold. Shah, Shelby, dinked forward by him, watched by MacArthur. Schlupp wins the 50-50 with John Joe Shelby. Now Zaha will release Van Arnold. This is fluid stuff from Crystal Palace. Benteke's crying out for it. Benteke! Oh, he's got it all wrong. It was the right ball played to him from Andros Townsend. Not quite put on a plate, but pretty much from Andros Townsend. And on the slide, Christian Benteke couldn't make any sort of contact.
And that's Palace at their best. Great counter-attacking play, decent cross in, and he just can't get on the end of it, can he, Benteke, unfortunately. A little bit more pace. Batshuayi probably would have got there slightly quicker, but that's what Palace needs to be doing, that kind of counter-attacking play.
It's a year since Christian Benteke last scored in the Premier League, a 5-0 win against Leicester City 14 games ago. So in his defence, I suppose, it's mitigated by the fact that he hasn't played too much. 3 goals in the last 44, though, for Christian Benteke. That's not great reading.
No, it's not good at all. It's a poor tackle from Isaac Hayden. But then again, he took one for the team there. Zaha's turn, and he's driving, and he's away. If he gets past these two, he's away. And they, by hook or by crook, they have to stop him, and they do.
Yeah, he was just about to shift through the gears there, Wilfried Zaha. But Palace will take this set piece. It's 30 plus yards from goal to the left of centre. Some Palace shirts lined up along the right hand side of the edge of the Newcastle box, but they play it down the left hand side to Zaha, who will then dink it in towards that far side. The header coming back towards Benteke and Schlupp. And it's Perez on the edge of his own box that hammers it away. Rondon takes it on his chest but gets away with it. His first touch wasn't great, but they keep it alive well. Here's Almiron on the right hand side this time, trying to twist and turn Wan-Bissaka into knots, but the youngster's not having any of it. He's won it back brilliantly. Benteke sped Zaha, got to go on his own here. Wilfried Zaha into the penalty area, he's drawing the foul. It's a penalty.
Told you.
Wilfried Zaha wins a 10th penalty for Crystal Palace this season, and with 11 minutes to go, the visitors have a great chance to break the deadlock.
Absolute nailed on, and you could see it coming. He just moves the ball so quickly. DeAndre Yedlin, it's a terrible tackle. He actually doesn't need to do it, but such fear that Zaha strikes in defenders, it makes them do things they shouldn't be doing. I told you early on, about 20 minutes, I said if it gets late in the game, do not let Zaha have the ball in and around the box, because he will create something out of nothing, and here's a chance.
It's really naive, and it's Luka Milivojevic who scored from the spot to make it 9 out of 9 against Huddersfield. Here he goes again with 10 minutes to go. Milivojevic, no mistake. 10 out of 10 for the Crystal Palace captain from the spot, and the Eagles have the lead. Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Great penalty, I've got to say. I mean, that's the side he normally goes. His left keeper's right. Swerves it into the side netting, and the keeper dives the right way. The pace will be too much for him anyway. He won't get that. It's a great penalty. Almost a smash and grab for Palace. There's 10 minutes to go, so there's more than enough time. But then we're looking at the penalty again, and it's ridiculous from Yedlin. There's absolutely no need for him to just stay on your feet. You know who you're up against. I feel sorry for Benitez. Will be fuming. You cannot legislate for that. He'll have trained his players, said, look, when Zaha's in the box, jockey, let him have it, jockey, slow him down. Whatever you do not stick your foot out.
It's so naive, it's like he's never seen Wilfried Zaha play. It's terrible.
He'd be fuming, and it's almost like he's let his teammates down. You could see there was no complaint from any Newcastle players, because you knew what was coming, and you knew it 10 yards outside the box.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you could definitely see that unfolding. It's really poor from the American, and he's put his team up against it here. 1-0 down. Milivojevic from the spot, as it always is. his 11th Premier League goal of the season, his 10th successful penalty in a row. Newcastle now have to try and gamble. Well, they might get caught. Here he goes again, Wilfried Zaha. Benteke's in so much space. Oh, and this time it's a poor pass from Zaha. Just the simplest of balls out to Benteke, and he was clean through.
Well, if he passes that correctly, as he should have done, Benteke's through. And this is how the game is looking now. Newcastle have to go for it now, and Palace, it sort of plays into Palace's lap, really. This is how Palace play on the counter-attack, when the opponents have overloaded their attacking options in the wide areas, and it leaves Zaha. The ball goes into Zaha. If he comes turned and he's running at Newcastle's defence, trouble.
It's not rocket science, it really isn't. But it's almost as if Newcastle are thinking, this Zaha fella, where's he come from?
We can kick him, it's no problem. We can stick our foot out.
He does that, does he? Here's Shah for Newcastle. 7 minutes to go, but there will be some decent stoppage time to add on, and they still might have a chance here, and Perez shot is blocked. And across comes Wan-Bissaka to clear it away. It was Almiron, beg his pardon, who had that attempt at goal. Perez was right in his face at the same time.
I'm wondering who that's hit. I don't know if it's hit a Newcastle player, that one.
Shelvey, point of the box, shrugs off at Milivojevic. Really good ball from a tight spot as well from him. And Perez, from the heart of the penalty area, is over the bar with a header.
Well, at least they're getting the ball in the box. Here we go again. Comes to Almiron. Oh, and it's Van Arno, good block, got to say, in front of the goalkeeper. They're getting the ball in the box, that's all they're trying to do. Get the ball in the box now, try and get as many chances as they can. Another change for Palace.
Jaku Kouyaté is going to come on. I wonder if this will be for MacArthur, possibly. No, it's for Townsend, actually.
So they're shutting up shop. It looks like they're going to go 4-4-2. Possibly. It's a strange old substitution now, I've got to say. Townsend's just done no better and worse than anyone else. But again, I think they just want to stiffen up the midfield areas. He's got a little bit more energy. Kouyaté gets up and down the pitch, box to box, puts tackles in, and just will close everything down.
Yep. A warm hug from Roy Hodgson as he goes off at Andros Townsend. Big smiles and high fives among the players in the Palace bench. You can understand why. They are 5.5 minutes plus stoppage time away from only their second win at St James's Park in the Premier League since 1998, thanks to Luka Milivojevic's penalty on 80 minutes. His 10th successful spot kick of the season, his 19th successful penalty in his last 21 attempts. He scored against Newcastle as well from the spot.
Has any team got more penalties this season?
I don't think so, no.
Incredible. Is that 10 penalties you say Palace have got?
10 penalties that Zaha has won. They've got 11 penalties in total, that no one else can beat that now. The only team that could rival them in the English football leagues was Charlton.
Right.
But I think they're level with Charlton at the moment now with their 11th. But in the Premier League, they're miles out in front. Here's John Joe Shelvey to Matt Ritchie. Steps away from MacArthur. Shelvey lifts it into the penalty area. Rondon heads it back intelligently towards Almiron. They kept it alive really well. Scooped in by Yedlin. And Rondon goes in with the keeper, who goes down clutching his chest. But again, there didn't seem to be too much wrong with that. So while the referee sorts that out, let's go to Huddersfield Leicester. Another goal there.
Perfect position, just left of centre. Here he comes, James Maddison, round the wall and into the net. There was a sense of inevitability about that as soon as Maddison spotted the ball up to take the free kick.
Leicester going 3-1 up there at Huddersfield. They did momentarily half the deficit at 2-1, but looking a lost cause now for the Premier League's bottom club. It's inching towards the same here for Newcastle. They've got 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Newcastle will stay 7 points clear of Cardiff if they can't find a goal at least in these closing moments. MacArthur for Palace, blocked by Shelby. Now Almiron out to Yedlin. He'll be desperately keen to conjure something here for his side to make amends for giving away the penalty. It goes all the way through to Ritchie, half volleyed back in, but Guaita should have that covered. I think it's drifted out of play anyway. It has.
Shame, a couple of very poor crosses. Have just snatched at them, maybe a little bit anxious, just snatched them. Neither one. Yedlin's cross was not great. Comes to, I think it's Ritchie, who has better quality than that, to be truthful. Has got to do more to put Palace's defence under pressure.
Yeah. And time is very definitely against them. Looks like their winning run at home is coming to an end. They still won't have completely banished the idea of getting involved in that final relegation scrap, as unlikely as that appears. Even a win for Palace here won't mathematically do it, but it will take them right to the edge of the 40-point barrier on 39, which will almost certainly be enough.
There should be. I mean, either team that won this would be safe, and that's why I thought one of them would go for it.
Dummett crossed into the left-hand side. Rondon takes it down on his chest, but Kouyaté nips in to take it away. Wan-Bissaka puts his right boot through it up towards the halfway line. That'll do for Palace at the moment. Approaching the 90th minute. Here comes the third and final change for Newcastle. Matt Ritchie is going off. And on comes Christian Atsu. Dummett with this throw. Here's the first touch from Atsu. Back to Dummett, whipped down the line to Almiron. That's a good ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Guaita comes out and punches.
Sure about the punching, to be truthful.
Why not? He's got lucky because he's hit it straight to Jeffrey Schlupp.
Yeah.
And then he's fouled by Oizi Perez, and that will be a free kick. I'm with you. Got Guaita flying out of there, and then even though he gave it a good whack, I just wonder, there's just this sense of it could really go anywhere.
Yeah,
when he comes out.
With the rain coming along, slicing that punch could cause real
just
problems.
Catch it.
Just catch it, and it alleviates any pressure on his back four.
Here comes the fourth official. Scoreboard. There's going to be 7 minutes raised aloft by Craig Pawson. It's not too much of a surprise, actually. That lengthy injury we had to Florent Lejeune, and a number of knocks as well. Batshuayi in the first half. All the substitutions too. Here's Zaha. Palace are not there yet. Wan-Bissaka. That's a good cut back to Zaha inside the penalty area. He's trying to cause mischief again rather than shooting towards goal. He's trying to dribble his way past a couple of players and just tempting the challenge.
Well, Benteke's at the back post, so he's looking for that ball to be put into the box for him.
Now here's Rondon peeling away down the left-hand side for Newcastle. 2 Newcastle shirts in the box. Here comes the cross from Almiron. It's over Shelby. It's away well by Van Arnold. Palace need to pick up the pieces here. Yedlin is offside, I think, as that ball came to him. So in a way they've just done that, Palace, by getting this free kick. Another goal in the match between Huddersfield and Leicester.
Here he comes, and he just about scores. Hamer got something on it, but only touched it into the roof of the net. Vardy pats him on the head as he runs over to celebrate with the Leicester supporters and put the seal on the victory.
Yeah, it looks like it's 4 in a row now for Brendan Rodgers for Leicester City. Jamie Vardy with the 4th Fox's goal this afternoon. There's Dummett trying to get there ahead of Zaha on the edge of the penalty area. Hooked away. 2 minutes of the 7 additional minutes at the end of this one gone. Zaha tries to keep it in on the far side, but can't. Newcastle will get the throw. Dummett takes it to Lascelles. Shah up to Shelby on the edge of the centre circle. That's a wayward pass from John Joe Shelby. You can no doubt hear the sighs of frustration and disappointment from the 52,000 in here. Not all of them, of course, because a portion of that will be Palace fans, will be delighted. Shah comes forward again to the halfway line, pumps it out to Atsu, kills it instantly. Christian Atsu, really good ball towards the near post. Decent defending from Martin Kelly, backpedaling feverishly to nip it over the top of the bar.
And what you like about Scott Dan and Martin Kelly is they take up very good defensive starting positions, so the ball finds them, and you look at them both. If that misses Kelly, you know Dan's getting it. It's great defending and good positional play. The ball finds them, takes the pressure off the goalkeeper as well.
4 minutes of the added on time remaining. Atsu with this corner towards the far post. Guaita comes out and does make the catch this time.
And that is far better than punching it the way he has been. And I wonder why he hasn't. That was harder than when he had to punch it.
I was just about
really
to say
strange.
the same. Yeah.
Really strange. Coming through traffic, one of his own players, Wan-Bissaka's in his way. Anything could have happened, but he deals with it superbly.
Nodded forward here by Benteke. Has he got a wayward arm there on Fabian Schär? He has. Referee just pointing out to the Belgian, who screws his face up in disagreement. But free kick it is.
Funny, when you use your arm or you flail your arm, normally that's a send it off straight off the bat. Things have changed.
Wow. Did he draw it back though?
Yeah, fair play.
But he's gone into the book, Benteke, for that. Long ball out towards Atsu, but he's going to run away for a throw, for a goal kick to Palace. He'll be delighted with that. 3 minutes of the stoppage time remaining, 1 or 2, a bit more than that actually. Newcastle fans have seen enough. They're already heading down the steps from the stands and walking along the concourses, down and out.
They'll be deeply disappointed because, you know, they feel they should have done enough in this game to at least nick a draw, and to be on the losing side is, you know, they'll be gutted with that.
Yeah, they've had the chances as well. Definitely had the chances. Benteke chest passes it to John Joe Shelby in the end. Ball goes out of play on this near side, the Newcastle right, for a throw. Cleared up towards Dan, who nods it out of play again. Newcastle inching their way down the right hand touchline. Poor ball by Shelby, away by Van Arnold, but it'll be picked up here by Dummett. The crowd baying for a shot. He moves it out to Christian Atsu. 2 minutes of the stoppage time to go. Christian Atsu, a little step over. Wan-Bissaka with a brilliant tackle. No margin for error there from the youngster, but he was immaculate. It is going to be a corner.
He liked that, backed himself. Unlike Yedelin, timed it beautifully, because that was the exact same sort of situation.
Newcastle's 9th corner. 90 seconds of stoppage time to go. Atsu whips it in. Oh, appeal for handball there against Wan-Bissaka. Referee says no.
Wow.
That looked like it might have hit his arm, albeit accidentally.
I have to say it did. Well, see if we get another look at that one.
Well, if so, it struck his hand, it'll be a penalty in the future, won't it? Come what may. Headed away by Kelly. Benteke could finish the game here, Palace, but he's shown too much of that to Lascelles, has Wilfried Zaha. Palace will just want to keep the ball here inside the last minute of the 7 additional minutes here at the end of this game. They've won a throw. They'll take an age over this. You can rest assured when we do get a replay of this potential handball. Wan-Bissaka, it has come off his left hand, albeit off his forehead when he was attempting the header.
It's never a penalty. If you give a penalty for that, that would be... I mean, next year, did you say that that's going to be a penalty anyway?
They're changing the handball rules, aren't they? Yeah. So handball will be handball, even if it's non-accidental.
That would have been a penalty then?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's going to cause some problems, because that's ricocheted off his head. It's just absolute...
It's all to do with the natural silhouette as well, isn't it? If your arms are extended out beyond what's considered a natural
well, let
silhouette.
me ask you, when you run, just running, what's a natural silhouette when you run?
That, isn't it? It's
exactly
don't take your eye out, but it's that.
It's the truth, though. You don't run with your hands down the side. So the natural silhouette changes, is fluid. It changes with every situation that comes along. Ridiculous.
Time is up here. Palace just walked the free kick towards the corner flag, and there goes the final whistle. Roy Hodgson is all smiles. His team have won the game, and they have won at St James's Park for only the second time since 1998. They're not mathematically certain to stay in the Premier League, of course, next season, Palace, but they've taken a huge stride toward it today. Luka Milivojevic's penalty 10 minutes from time was enough for them to win the game. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Has a run of Sterling to find, and he does find him in the area. Raheem Sterling for a hat-trick here! And the hat-trick is gobbled up by Raheem Sterling. What a player this young man is.
Tries to play it forward. Hayward puts it up in the air. Comes down. Chance for 3-2. It is 3-2. Perez scores again. Well, it's times to be a Geordie fan from 2-0 down to 3-2 up.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Really good delivery from Knockout. Here's the ball into the back of the net, and Andone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough.
And Wolves win possession through Jimenez. Jimenez is going to go himself. There's another chance here. Go for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Jimenez 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
First time touch trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way, and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal in the final minutes of the 90.
He's usually unerring from the spot, Harry Kane. He's scored all his last 5 spot kicks. He faces Bernd Leno and scores again! And Tottenham Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport.
You're listening to Premier League Live. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Coming up, full coverage of Manchester City against Brighton from Wembley. Plus, we'll reflect on all the action from this afternoon's Premier League football, including a huge win for Burnley, really powering away from the relegation zone with a terrific victory this afternoon. And Crystal Palace ending Newcastle's 5 wins on the spin at St James's Park, winning at the home of Newcastle United for only the second time since the late 1990s. So reflect on all that action, but first the team news for the FA Cup semi-final from Wembley. Manchester City against Brighton with Tom Rennie.
Dan, thank you. City on a run of 21 wins in 22 matches, including the penalty shootout victory in the Carabao Cup final here at Wembley. They go into this game, obviously, as big favourites. Brighton have never won at Wembley Stadium, losing 3 successive matches here since a 2-2 draw with Manchester United in the 1983 FA Cup final, going on to lose the replay. Let's get to the teams. We'll start with Brighton. They make 4 changes from their capitulation against Chelsea in midweek. Bruno Bong, they drop out, as do Solly March and Andone. March injured, the hero of the quarter-final, of course, doesn't make it. Up front, Knockaert, Murray and Jahan Baksh, the record signing. Montoya and Bernardo come in the full-back areas. For Man City, making a load of changes in midweek. Another bunch today, 7 in total from their victory over Cardiff City in midweek. The headlines from the teams is that Benjamin Mendy has been pulled out of the club and he starts today for the first time in quite some time for Man City. Sergio Aguero nowhere to be seen. He doesn't make the matchday squad today. Gabriel Jesus starts up front, and Raheem Sterling, a potential player of the year, is recalled to the starting 11 for this first FA Cup semi-final.
Tom, we talked with Paul Mortimer at half-time in the Newcastle Palace game about whether there was any scenario in which Brighton might upset the odds, but we couldn't really think of one, not that was based in any kind of reality.
No, far be it from me to disagree with Paul Mortimer, but I do think there is a chance here for Brighton, mainly because Man City at Wembley have never really put on their best performances. They weren't great here against a Chelsea team who were in free fall at the time, who they'd stuffed for, 6 a few days earlier, so they never really turn up massively in these games in recent times. Also, Tuesday night, the brand new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they can enjoy a nice drink in the microbrewery, but they're going to have a massive game there in the Champions League, so one eye is obviously going to be on that, and they may well be a bit complacent because they are such big favourites. You can get 14, 18 to 1 from various bookies on Brighton just to get something from this game, just to win 1-0 in a game against a team in the same league as you is like 20 to 1 with some bookies, so it's massive odds on it. However, they may well be a bit too complacent, and frankly, Gabriel Jesus has not been up to snuff this year, so maybe Duncan Duffy, who we know a good centre-half, can stop them. And look, up front as well, we know Anthony Knockaert, he can have a great day, he scores great goals, very pacey and very influential on his day. Ali Reza, Jahan Baksh hasn't had a great season since his £17 million move from the Eredivisie, but has talent. And Glenn Murray, well, we know he will score if he gets the chance. And the last time they met in the Cup, about 10 years ago, Glenn Murray was playing and Brighton were in League One and City were in the Premier League. The flush of new money back then, and it was won by Brighton on penalties. Vincent Kompany also played that day, so you never know. And Chris Hughton, let's not discount Chris Hughton, who has won this cup as a player, and when he won it in 1981, who did they beat? Manchester City. So there you go. That's why Brighton are going to do it.
Exactly. Well, from Brighton's point of view, they kind of have to forget recent form, which we know is pretty wretched, and they just have to view this as, look lads, it's a one-off, it's Wembley, who knows, let's just have a go. That's surely the way they've got to approach it, isn't it?
Well, we know Chris Hughton is a conscientious manager. I think he is going to be a bit more defensive than that, but looking at the lineup, they've got attacking talent in. I thought they might go a bit more defensive with another man in midfield and maybe play someone like Bong in a more defensive role. A third centre-half maybe had been mooted this week, but he's got the pace, he's got the talent, he's got good players out there. Pascal Gross been out for so much of this season, such a big loss in that creative position for Brighton, but I think they're going to need to try and stop Man City. Hope they're having a bad day and take the chance when they get it. It's not impossible. Bristol City pushed Man City close last season in the Cup. Wigan knocked them out of this Cup last year with that goal by Will Grigg, who was on fire on the day, some would say. I wouldn't, because I'm better than that, but some would say it. Yeah. So you never know, Dan. It's well worth sticking around for this one.
Absolutely, and there's one thing we can guarantee from the FA Cup over the years, it's upsets, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be one today. Stick around and join Tom Rennie for that one. Manchester City against Brighton from Wembley Stadium in the FA Cup semi-final, coming up at 5:30 UK time. Back to the Premier League though, there have been 3 games kicking off this afternoon at 3 o'clock in the UK, and here are the best bits of those.
yards out. Fraser curls it in. Clipped header. 1-0. Own goal. I believe it's Ashley Barnes. There's a flag up. We'll wait to see exactly what's gone on here. Good finish by Ashley Barnes. Shame it's the wrong end of the goal. Corner comes in. Begovic is right, and there should be one. Each it is. It's Chris Wood with the simplest of headers at the back post. Full clearance chance for 2. It is 2. Westwood makes it 2 on 20 minutes. Burnley a goal down after 4, and now 2-1 up in a matter of moments.
Oh, what a goal! Swept into the corner by Yuri Tielemans, who first time just guided it beyond Ben Hamer. That looked so simple. I can assure you it was not. Oh, and there's Vardy to tap in for 2-0. What a horrible defensive mix-up for Huddersfield Town. Oh, it's a penalty just inside the box, and Huddersfield get the chance to strike back straight away. It's Moy, who sends Schmeichel the wrong way and gives Huddersfield Town hope in this game.
Chance here for Barnes. It's 3-1. How has that unfolded? The Bournemouth fans are absolutely beside themselves because Martin Atkinson has awarded the goal.
James Maddison round the wall and into the net. There was a sense of inevitability about that. As soon as Maddison spotted the ball up to take the free kick, it seemed there was only one place it was going to finish up, that in the back of Ben Hamer's goal.
It's a penalty!
Told you.
Wilfried Zaha wins a 10th penalty for Crystal Palace this season. Milivojevic! No mistake! 10 out of 10 for the Crystal Palace captain from the spot. And the Eagles have the lead.
Vardy rounds Hamer, and then he's brought down, and it's going to be a penalty. And he just about scores. Hamer got something on it, but only touched it into the roof of the net.
Quick reflection on Newcastle defeat at home to Crystal Palace. Paul Mortimer, who's done the game with us here on Premier League Live. Newcastle can't have too many complaints, can they, off that ghastly error by Yedlin?
I said to you before, the game was a tight one. It was going to take a bit of skill or an error, and it took both, really. Lovely bit of skill from Zaha, error from Yedlin. I feel sorry for Benitez. You can't legislate for that. You've told them, you've stressed it, you've worked on it in the week. Just jockey him. Don't get anywhere near him. As the game gets late, if they get a chance, don't get anywhere near him. And, you know, it's what's cost him in the end.
Great to see you, Morts.
Cheers, my friend.
Take care. See you again soon. Okay. Big win for Palace today. Up to 39 points. Not mathematically safe yet, but as good as there. The frustration continues for Newcastle and Rafa Benitez. Massive win for Burnley, who leapfrogged Newcastle up to 14th spot now after an enormous victory on the South Coast today. Not necessarily in scoreline, but in what it means. They beat Bournemouth by 3-1 in front of Andrew Self.
It finished here in a vital match at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 3. The first half was played at breakneck pace, with Bournemouth fastest out of the traps. Just 4 minutes on the clock, and Bournemouth took the lead when Burnley's Ashley Barnes headed past Heaton with the accuracy of a sniper. But that didn't deter Sean Dyche's men as they knuckled down and showed great resilience to score 2 in 2 minutes. A Westwood corner cleared a planted Begovic for Wood